Hi guys, welcome back to Origami Twist. I'm very excited about today's video because I'm going to be teaching a paper swan. And this model is actually designed by Mr. Robert Lang, so I'd like to thank you right off the bat, Mr. Lang. I really appreciate your permission to, you giving me permission to teach this model today. And if any of you really enjoy this one and would like to learn a bit more about Mr. Lang's origami, there's a link to his website below as well as at the beginning of this video. And he sells several books on origami techniques and things that I think you'll find to be quite interesting. Now, I'd also like to mention that this is not the easiest model in the world. So if you're brand new to origami, you may want to try a few other techniques, and I have a paper crane video that you can try and different things just to practice and get your mind around the idea of paper folding. Now, if you're not new to origami, jump right in. It's not the most difficult model in the world by any sense of the imagination, but it does have its tricky bits, especially with the head. There are a few inside reverse folds and that sort of thing that just dropped it on the floor. That's all right. There are a couple of folds that can pose a challenge. So please check it out, try it out. If you need to, feel free to pause the video and go back a bit and watch it again. So enjoy. If you have any questions or any of it isn't clear for whatever reason and you would like me to perhaps make a follow-up video with a little bit more information about a particular fold, definitely let me know about that in the comments below and we'll talk and I can try doing that for you. But anyway, I highly recommend making it and let me know what you think. Take care and enjoy the video. You may already be aware that the Origami Swan is a model which has appeared on the television show Prison Break. It's also appeared on the television show Skins UK. I haven't actually seen either of those television shows, but I have had a request for it and did a bit of research, and here it is. All right, first, folds first. You are going to fold your paper, which is a square sheet of paper. This is a 6" by 6" sheet. Use whatever size you like. 6" by 6" makes one that's about the size of a small woman's hand. Okay. All right, so corner to corner, fairly straightforward. Then you're going to go with one of your edges lined up with the middle and crease, and you will recognize that this is being folded correctly because it starts to look like a kite, and you're going to do that on the other side as well. Edge comes in, meets the middle, and put a crease. Paying special attention to this corner down here because that will end up being what you form the head out of. So you want to make sure that that is as neat as possible. Okay, turn your paper over, and the wide triangle here, you're going to take the point and fold the whole flap up. The point is going to line up with that middle crease there. Come up and show you that, see? It's going to line up with the crease, and you'll know where to fold because of where the two points are from the kite and crease. Okay. Now I like to turn this around for the next one. You're going to take that same point that we lined up with that center line and line it up where the crease here meets the edge, right at this point. And here you go. So this point lines up and meets that center point, like so. The next part is a little bit tricky because you need to take this line, this crease here, and line it up with this end piece. So I like to pretend that I'm picking up a flap here, or picking up a tab, and then as I pick it up, I'm just going to slide that horizontal line and line it up with the top. So if you were to draw a straight line, you'd go right through that crease and all the way across. All right, very good. Now, you have a piece that looks like this, and take that center line, which should be a nice straight line all the way through, and fold it in half so that this big triangle is in the middle. Great. Hold your paper like this. It almost looks like a paper airplane at this point in a way, doesn't it? A flat one. If you pinch your thumb and your forefinger right about here on the model and pretend that this is the tail. Well, not pretend, it actually is the tail. If I hold this way and you pull the tail down and supporting it over here, you'll find that this part will slide down to wherever you want it to go. If you slide it down about 1 centimeter for this size model, but just a little bit, notice this line was up here, so it used to be up here. Now we're just going to slide it down here, pressing my fingers in so that the crease is nice and tucked in, and pinch to create a new crease on the inside of here. You'll have the little triangle coming down that way. That takes a bit of practice, but I'll show you what the inside looks like. See, it ends up being creased inside there. Instead of being up here, it's now down here and crease. Once that's completed, you're going to take this big long edge here and line it up with this top edge here, making sure that it's nice and neatly folded right out to the tip. Remember, that tip is the head of the bird, so you want the tip to be as neatly folded as possible. That's your key piece here. So you fold that up, making sure you fold up that little flap as well, the whole thing. Turn it over, and once again, this long edge is going to line up with this edge up here, and folding up the tab too, the whole thing, and making sure that the head piece up here is super neat. And then of course, making it nice even crease. Now it really looks like an airplane, see? Doesn't fly very well, trust me. My husband and I tried it the other day. It does not fly very well, but it looks really cool. So if you can't get to the bird point, you've made a really neat looking fake paper airplane. All right. So now it's this flat, triangle-y spaceship airplane looking thing. Notice how I'm running my fingers along it? This is to make it more malleable, because you are going to be folding all of these layers of paper really shortly here, and if it's more malleable, it'll be easier to fold. Okay. Take the tip where the head is and line it up with the tail, and see how that malleableness made it easier to fold, and line them up and then crease. Now the crease doesn't have to be really, really well creased here, because all of this is a marking point, an indicator if you will, so that you know where to fold your paper next. Okay. Now, with the little flappy part down here, you are going to focus on this one little dot right where my index finger is, right there. And where that crease that where that crease that we just folded is right here, where it meets this bit. And you are going to create a crease going from here to here. So this diagonal right along there. So if you put one in one forefinger and thumb and one in the other, you should be able to guide them. And if you'll notice, now I have a crease there. It meets here and here. If you turn your paper over and crease it the other way, that's going to be really good, because we're actually going to use this, instead of using this as a fold line, we're actually going to use this as a place to turn the paper inside out. So the better the crease, the better the results you'll have. All right. Now that you've got this really well creased, you are going to create a separation between the body and the neck and head. And you're going to do that by sliding your finger in here to the point where all of those fold lines meet. So it's right about there where my thumb is, okay? And you can see that just by looking at all your little creases, they should all meet in one spot. If they don't, go back, try it again, no big deal. But that's where your thumb is going to go. Now if you press down with your index finger and support with your thumb, it's going to turn inside out, see? Now, those beautiful creases that you created here and here can now be pressed in, and there you go. Now that's a tricky piece. If you can master this, you should be able to do the rest of it and it'll be okay. If it didn't click the first time, go back and watch it again and listen to it again. If you're not an audio person and you like to be able to see it, turn my voice off and watch it and it may click. If not, have a friend that has figured it out to show you, because we all learn differently. So if for some reason this video is making it so that you're confused, don't let that stop you from learning it, you know? Talk to other people, do whatever you need to do to learn it, because it's totally worth it. All right. So now that you've gone back and got to this point, or just got to this point if you were able to do it the first time, now we need to have a look at turning his neck into an actual neck instead of this thing sticking off the top. See how it's starting to look like a body down there? Right. So you'll probably notice that his neck is inside out from here. See how this is sticking out? And his neck is actually going in. So we're going to do that next part now. We're going to do that by very similar to the way that we did this, where we pushed in with our finger and then creased. We're actually going to push in with our thumb this time and support with our index finger. So push your thumb up against the neck until it touches the back, okay? And now that they're touching, you'll notice that there's this piece here and here that sort of want to crease. Well, you're going to guide that into a crease and you're going to tell it what the crease is going to look like. So here we actually want it to look perpendicular to the bottom. Perpendicular means at a 90-degree right angle, a 90-degree or a right angle to the bottom. And you'll know that that's the right angle because the neck is actually laying against the body. So now you can see that we've got this indent here, just like we do there. So it's gone inside out. And now we want to go and do it the other way. See how the neck is inside out there? And it's not yet here. That's what we're going to create next. Now you want to have a look at the length of the neck there. And see how the fold is right around where that crease is. You could do it right around where the crease is. You could also go up a little bit. It's your choice where you choose to make this, but just keep in mind that there's quite a bit of folding involved for the head as well. It's going to take up quite a bit of this length of material, so it's up to you. Basically, I'd say it takes practice and it has a lot to do with what you like, the look you like. Okay, so take your thumb and use your thumb as the pushing tool and your index finger as the guide for this one. And then decide where you want the base of the twist in the neck to be. So on this one I've got it right near where this crisscross is, but I'm going to actually put this one a little bit higher, see? Press with your thumb and again, you're going to have these two parts that decide they want to be creases and let them be creases, but you decide where the crease goes. So you be in charge of the crease. And there you go. Very good. Okay, we've got to that part. What about the head? You either do one fold or two folds. So if you want to do the two fold, here you go. You just fold the head down, knowing that the beak is going to be a certain length, and then you'll need a little bit more space because it'll be tucked under. Show you on this one. See how you'll have a beak length and then a little bit more to be tucked under. So you just pinch to figure out how long you want the beak to be, plus a little more to be tucked under, like this, and then pinch. Here's a view from the top. Pinch, all of them together like this. Okay, see how that's starting to look like that? It's like a zigzag shape that's then been pinched over. And then you just decide how big you want your head to be, and I think that looks pretty good. Like that. So notice how I'm not putting any sharp creases in here until I'm not putting any sharp creases in here until I've decided what sort of shape I want the head to be. Creases can come after you've decided. It's sort of like using modeling clay. So once you've got that finished, then you just go back and pinch. And that's it. All right. Now, if you've seen my paper crane video, you know that you can actually inflate the body of the paper crane, which is my favorite part because it makes it look three-dimensional. You can do a similar thing with this swan as it turns out, and you do that by taking this big first layer of wing, the second layer of wing, and on both sides, and taking your thumb and index finger and gently pulling, and then press down in the middle of the back there, right where the line is and where the tail comes up and meets it. Now if you'll notice, I've got my fingers underneath, and I'm going to show you that underneath thing in a second. And I'm actually pulling out like this with my fingers so that the paper sits open. Right, now I'm going to turn it over so you can see when it's originally folded flat. Again, thumbs pressing down, but I'm going to turn it over the other way so you can see. You're going to take those fingers and slide it out a little bit so that it inflates. And if you pull gently and allow it to sort of come into shape, it will actually stay that way, and you'll have this beautiful three-dimensional swan, which you can then leave on your sweetheart's desk at school or whatever you like. Because yes, you've probably already noticed, here's another one, when you put the two swans together, they do, get a better one. When you put the swans together, they do make a little heart shape. This head's not quite right, but they do make a little heart shape, so very romantic. Could do them in red for your sweetheart for Valentine's Day if you like. It's just lovely. Okay, so that's the paper swan. So there it is, the Skins UK Prison Break Swan, courtesy of a pattern by Robert J. Lang. Definitely check out his books if you haven't already. They are wonderful. He's a very, very, very talented paper crafter, origami designer. Now, if you enjoyed this and you'd like to learn more paper folding tips, tricks, and techniques, please subscribe to the channel. I think the button will be here. And we'll also have a link at the end of the video. And thank you very much. Have a great night, guys. Take care. And sometimes my voice can be annoying. I understand that. If you find my voice annoying, turn the volume off, then pause it, and then go back and watch it again. Because everybody learns differently. I totally understand that, and I am not going to be offended if you need to do that in order to get a certain technique or whatever. And the same goes for any of my videos.